If you have been the one who is always the nice one, the calm one, the kind person who always understands and never makes things difficult, I want you to pause for a second and listen to me. Because sometimes what looks like kindness on the outside might become self-abandonment on the inside. When you say yes, your body is actually trying to say no. Maybe you smile when something might actually be hurting you deep inside. Maybe you keep peace so well that somewhere deep down you have forgotten how to be feeling peaceful inside you. In Carl Jung's world, this is the point where we meet our persona, the version of ourselves which we show it to the world so that we can be accepted. And for many women, this persona becomes something that we call as the nice girl. But the parts of you that don't fit the image, your anger, your needs, your disappointments, your boundaries, your truth, don't just disappear. They go into what we call as shadow. And today we are not here to shame that part of you. Today we are here to gently listen to it. Because healing the nice girl shadow isn't about becoming harsh or cold. It is about becoming whole. Today I want to talk to you about a very common type of pattern, an archetype that we called as a nice girl. Now, being kind is beautiful. Being thoughtful, empathetic, and caring are very powerful qualities. But there is a difference between genuine kindness and staying nice to be feeling safe, accepted, and liked. Carl Jung believed that we all develop a social mask, a mask that helps us belong in this world. It helps us function logically, and it isn't bad. The problem arises when we as a person get too attached to that social mask. We may start rejecting parts of ourselves that don't match the mask. So if your persona says, I'm always easygoing, your anger may be pushed away. If your persona says, I never disappoint people, your needs might be unspoken. If your persona says, I never create conflicts, your truth might be still unspoken. Slowly, all these rejected parts become our shadow. Not because they are evil, but because they have not been given a space to exist. Today, we are going to try and bring all of those parts back to light very gently, slowly, and compassionately. Let's get started. The first step is to notice gently. We are not changing anything. Notice how do you react if someone's asking you for a favor and you immediately say yes, but there is a slight tightness in your chest or there is a sinking feeling in your body. That also meant that your body or yourself was not meaning to say yes to the favor. It may be your inner self trying to communicate with you. In the next 24 hours, I want you to pay attention whenever you use the word should. I should be able to help. I should be able to do this. I should not make it a big deal. I should get it done ASAP. Every should could be a doorway. Not all the time, but very often. It shows you when your true self have been overridden by that part of you who wants to be approved. We don't need to judge it. We just need to notice, acknowledge, and write it down. This sometimes can also be labeled as people pleasing, and we are not punishing ourselves for doing so. The goal is to lovingly observe where you start leaving yourself behind. As they say, awareness is the first step of healing. Next step is to meet the part of you that feels angry. In Carl Jung's world, it is believed that we are not here to be perfect. We are here to become whole. And wholeness means loving and accepting the parts of ourselves that we have been taught to hide somewhere. Nice girl, the most expressive sort of emotion deep within is anger. Not the explosive anger, but the quiet anger. The resentment that keeps building when you keep saying yes. The bitterness appears when you keep feeling unseen, and the irritation that might come to picture when you keep approving of things that you do not agree with. Many people tell you that resentment or feeling resentful is a problem, but let me tell you, it is not. Feeling resentful is an information. It may be telling you that something is out of balance. Be telling you that I have had enough. Or it may be telling you that the boundary has been crossed too many times. So next time you're feeling resentful, try not to push it away immediately. Try to sit with it, feel what you have to feel, and ask yourself, what did I needed to say and I didn't? What did I agree to when I didn't want to? What boundary of me was crossed? And what part of me is trying to be protected? These are very powerful questions. It is often trying to protect the life that you keep abandoning. It is a part of you that still remembers your worth even when your persona is trying to earn love by overgiving. For example, if your resentment is saying that I always make space for them, but they never make that same space for me, the integration here may mean that it is time for me to take a step back. Let's say if your body says, I need rest, the integration may mean you to take rest for that particular day without having it to explain it like a court case. This is where your boundaries come in, because boundaries are not there to punish people or lock people out, but boundaries are those doors with handles. They help you decide who gets access to your time, energy, space, and your peace. But hey, if you are always used to being the nice one, these boundaries might feel uncomfortable. Not because they are wrong, but because they feel really unfamiliar. Last one is very powerful because as we have noticed that people who tend to be people pleasers say yes very quickly. So when you say, let me check and get back to you, is where you are giving yourself space to pause and think about it. Your nervous system might feel guilty about it, but over the time it will understand, I am safe even when I disappoint somebody. I am still lovable even if I have limits. And I am kind despite having a good boundaries for myself. This is how we stop leaking our energy, not by becoming less loving, but by becoming more honest with ourselves. But not the least, let's try to reframe the guilt that we might be feeling at this point. For most people, when they set a boundary, the guilt almost immediately arrives. Certain boundaries, there might be certain statements or thoughts that could be coming up, like I am being selfish, or I don't care, or I might have disappointed that person. This is where a gentle reframe of these words can help. Instead of saying I'm being selfish for saying no, we start reframing that to I am protecting my energy that I need to show up by genuine love. Here's a simple image to remember. Imagine your space is a garden where anyone and everyone can come in without permission, without care, without respect, without acknowledgement. And eventually, nothing has a space to grow. So your boundaries are not there to keep love out, but they are the fences that protects what is growing inside. You are now taking those parts of you, bringing them to light and telling them, I see you now. You can be still loving, you can be still kind, you can be still gentle. But the difference is now this kindness gets to include you too. This week, I invite you to create the small boundary for yourself. Not a dramatic one, but a very honest one. Maybe you take longer before you reply. Maybe you say that I will think about it and let you know. Or maybe you rest without having to explain the rest. Or maybe you admit it to yourself that something hurts. If you feel comfortable, leave the comment with a word boundary and let me know which one small boundary you have created for yourself. Take the space where we don't shame each other for having needs, but rather we come together and admit, accept, and be honest with those needs. If this video resonates with you, let me know in the comments below. Consider subscribing and I will meet you in my next one. Thank you and stay mindly.